Oregon's housing market isn't just frozen. It's experiencing a catastrophic paralysis that will trap buyers in overpriced properties they can never escape. With median home prices still near $517,000, while buyers have completely disappeared, these 10 Oregon cities represent financial death traps where the American dream becomes a bankruptcy nightmare. The Oregon real estate industry calls this a market freeze, but that's propaganda designed to hide the financial devastation, destroying homeowner wealth across the state. Inventory explosions, affordability collapse, and economic fundamentals that make zero sense are creating housing market conditions that will bankrupt anyone foolish enough to buy now. Hit subscribe to Housing Truths USA because we're exposing the housing market disaster that Oregon's real estate lobby desperately wants to hide from you. Number 10. Astoria, the coastal dream turned nightmare. Astoria marketed itself as coastal charm and affordable living, but it's actually experiencing a 15.5% price crash that signals complete market collapse. The median home price crashed from peak to $464,950, a devastating 15.5% decline in just 1 year. But the real disaster is the 17.6% sales volume collapse that proves buyer demand has completely evaporated. Homes now sit unsold for 51 days compared to 36 days last year. That's not market adjustment. That's complete buyer flight from a market everyone recognizes as overpriced and declining. The affordability crisis is catastrophic. With median household income around $70,000, the monthly mortgage payment on a median home exceeds $3,700 at 7% interest rates. That's over 63% of gross income just for housing, a debt-to-income ratio that guarantees financial disaster. The coastal desirability that once protected Astoria has evaporated. Buyers recognize that remote location, limited employment opportunities, and climate risks make these properties fundamentally overvalued regardless of ocean views. Astoria isn't coastal living, it's coastal financial suicide. Number 9. Corvallis, the college town affordability collapse. Corvallis marketed itself as stable college town living, but even university employment can't support the crushing housing costs, destroying local affordability. While prices show deceptive 0.5% year-over-year increase to $535,000, the real story is the 18% sales volume collapse. Homes sit for 42 days compared to 30 days last year. Over 1.5% of listings show price declines as desperate sellers slash prices. The affordability math is financially impossible. With median household income around $70,000, the monthly mortgage payment exceeds $4,200 at current rates. That's a 72% debt-to-income ratio that no responsible lender should approve. The lock-in effect from homeowners who refinanced at low rates creates artificial inventory shortage while crushing would-be buyers. This isn't healthy market dynamics. It's market paralysis that benefits no one. Oregon State University employment provides stability, but university wages cannot support speculation-inflated housing costs. The disconnect between local incomes and housing prices guarantees continued decline. Corvallis isn't stable college town living, it's affordability collapse disguised as education community. Number 8. Salem, the state capital housing disaster. Salem marketed itself as affordable refuge from Portland, but it's actually a government town where public sector wages cannot support private market housing costs. Home values barely increased 0.1% to $443,693, but that masked the catastrophic market conditions. New listings far outpace sales, Days on market jumped to 40 from 32, and 35% of listings experienced price cuts. Foreclosure filings surged 15% year over year as the affordability crisis turns into payment defaults. With median income around $65,000 and mortgage payments approaching $3,500, homeowners are drowning in housing debt they cannot sustain. Government and healthcare employment that once provided stability now proves inadequate. Public sector wages haven't kept pace with speculation-driven housing costs, creating unsustainable debt burdens for workers. The population growth that continues comes from working-age people who find home ownership financially impossible. This creates a rental-dependent population that cannot build wealth through real estate. Salem isn't affordable refuge. It's government town poverty disguised as state capital living. Number 7. Gresham. The suburban dream, financial trap. Gresham marketed itself as affordable Portland suburb, but it's experiencing a 2.1% price crash with 18% sales collapse that signals suburban disaster. Median prices dropped to $485,000, while homes sit unsold for 45 days compared to 38 days last year. The 18% sales volume collapse proves that even affordable Portland suburbs are overpriced beyond market demand. With Multnomah County median income around $87,000, the monthly mortgage payment exceeds $3,900. That's still crushing debt to income that makes home ownership financially unsustainable for most families. The quality of life at accessible prices promise has evaporated. Gresham offers all the disadvantages of suburban sprawl: long commutes, car dependency, limited services, with none of the affordability that once justified those trade-offs. As Portland continues declining, Gresham loses its protective proximity to employment and services. The suburb becomes isolated economically while remaining expensive to live in. Gresham isn't affordable suburban living, it's suburban financial disaster. Number 6. Eugene. The eco-town affordability crisis. Eugene marketed itself as vibrant college town and eco-conscious community, but it's experiencing housing paralysis where 40% of listings cut prices desperately. Average home values reached $479,748, up just 2%, but sales plummeted 10% and homes sit 42 days compared to 29 days last year. The 40% price reduction rate proves sellers are panicking as demand evaporates. With median household income around $58,000, the monthly mortgage payment exceeds $3,800. That's over 78% of gross income for housing alone. This isn't just unaffordable, it's financially impossible. Eugene needs 1,600 new units annually to meet housing goals, but cannot achieve even fraction of that target. The housing crisis compounds as population grows, while construction fails to keep pace. University of Oregon provides rental market stability, but home ownership becomes impossible for anyone not wealthy. The eco-conscious community pricing destroys exactly the middle-class families it claims to serve. Eugene isn't vibrant college town, it's affordability disaster disguised as progressive community. Number 5. Bend. The luxury mountain town collapse. Bend marketed itself as luxury outdoor living, but median listing prices crashed 4.3% to $919,000, while 48.2% of listings cut prices desperately. Sales volume collapsed 15%, and homes sit 48 days compared to 38 days last year. The luxury market is in complete freefall as even wealthy buyers recognize the overvaluation. With median household income around $80,000, the monthly mortgage payment exceeds $6,500. That's over 97% of gross income. Even dual high-income families cannot afford Bend's speculation-inflated prices. The tourism economy that supported Bend is volatile and declining. Climate change affects skiing, wildfires threaten properties, and remote work trends reverse as companies recall workers to offices. Investors who bought during the frenzy face properties, sitting vacant with no rental demand at prices needed to cover costs. The speculation bubble is popping with devastating consequences. Bend isn't luxury mountain living. It's speculative collapse destroying wealth. Number 4. Hillsborough, the tech town. Housing disaster. Hillsborough marketed itself as Silicon for stability, but it's experiencing 5.5% price crash to $517,000 with 20% inventory explosion and 25% foreclosure surge. Tech employment that once guaranteed housing demand now proves insufficient. With median county income around $98,000, mortgage payments exceeding $4,400 create crushing debt-to-income ratios. Homes sit 50 days compared to 35 days 2 years ago, and 38% experienced price cuts. The 25% foreclosure surge proves the financial strain is turning into payment defaults and forced sales. Intel and tech sector provide jobs, but not the unlimited growth that speculation assumed. Slowing consumer spending and broader economic slowdown are crushing the housing market that depended on perpetual tech boom. The equity-free buyers from 2021 to 2022 peak are now underwater and facing foreclosure. Their financial devastation will cascade through the market as forced sales depress prices further. Hillsborough isn't tech stability, it's housing disaster despite Silicon Forest employment. Number 3. Beaverton, the suburban luxury collapse. Beaverton marketed itself as master-planned suburban perfection, but even Nike proximity cannot support prices as sales collapse 14% and homes sit 58 days. Median prices show deceptive 1.1% increase to $565,000, but listing prices trend down 2.8% as sellers desperately cut prices. The 58-day market time compared to 44 days last year proves luxury suburbs aren't immune. With median household income around $95,000, mortgage payments exceeding $4,500 create unsustainable debt burdens, even for professional families. The safe haven of suburban luxury has become financial trap. Highly rated schools and Nike employment cannot overcome fundamental affordability collapse. The families who can afford Beaverton are increasingly choosing other markets with better value propositions. The lock-in effect creates paralysis as 2021 refinancers refuse to move, choking inventory while crushing would-be buyers who face 7% rates. This benefits no one and guarantees continued decline. Beaverton isn't suburban perfection, it's luxury market collapse. Number 2. Lake Oswego, the elite enclave. Wealth destruction. Lake Oswego marketed itself as impenetrable wealth fortress, but even elite luxury cannot escape 3.5% price crash to $850,000 with 50% of listings cutting prices. Homes sit 78 days on market with 25% inventory increase, creating luxury property glut. A $3.5 million property sold for $2.8 million after 150 days. A 20% discount that signals ultra-luxury collapse. The over-reliance on small pool of high-net-worth buyers becomes fatal weakness. Even wealthy buyers balk at 7% interest rates on million-dollar mortgages that require $8,000 plus monthly payments. Lake Oswego built its reputation on perpetual appreciation illusion. The shift to buyer-controlled market where aggressive negotiation is standard creates cultural shockwave for community built on seller supremacy. Natural beauty cannot pay mortgages. The exclusive enclave risks becoming coastal shell of former self, an elite ghost town waiting for substantial price correction that may never come. Lake Oswego isn't wealth fortress, it's luxury market devastation. Number 1. Portland, the housing paralysis. Epicenter. Portland takes top spot because it represents complete housing market paralysis, prices that won't crash, but demand that won't return, creating suffocating stagnation. Median prices around $545,000 show deceptive stability, but 39% of homes experience price cuts, and days on market increased. The 4,820 net population loss represents exodus not seen in decades, with metro median income around $124,100, mortgage payments exceeding $4,500 make home ownership impossible for all but highest earners. The affordability crisis forces massive population exodus as residents flee crushing costs. Job losses in high-paying tech and financial services sectors eliminate the buyer pool that supported prices. The 23.1% commercial office vacancy rate signals broader economic vulnerability threatening residential market. Portland still glitters on surface, but closer examination reveals city with more homes than buyers and economy struggling to support its own weight. The housing dream has become nightmare for vast majority. The market freeze isn't correction. It's slow suffocation of homeownership opportunity. Supply shortage prevents crash, but affordability collapse prevents recovery. Portland is trapped in housing purgatory. Portland isn't quirky culture success, it's housing market paralysis destroying the Oregon dream. These 10 Oregon cities represent the complete failure of housing market speculation. From coastal charm to tech employment, suburban perfection to elite luxury, every market premise has collapsed under affordability crisis and demand destruction. The market freeze narrative is propaganda hiding the financial devastation. This isn't healthy correction, it's slow-motion wealth destruction for anyone trapped in Oregon real estate. Oregon prided itself on quality of life, but housing costs have destroyed exactly that quality for the vast majority. The migration and desirable lifestyle that built the boom now work in reverse, creating one of America's most paralyzed markets. Want to protect yourself from Oregon's housing market lies? Subscribe to Housing Truths USA. We expose the real estate industry deception that will bankrupt you, not the Pacific Northwest fantasies that destroy financial futures. The Oregon housing dream is dead. Don't let it bury your financial future.